Now we're adding mixed numbers, but this time when we add our fractions, we'll get a total of more than one whole, so we'll get an improper fraction, which means that we'll need to use a slightly different method. So first we have 2 3/4, and we're adding 2 7/12. But we know that when we add fractions, we need the denominators to be the same. So instead of 2 3/4, we can write 2 9/12. To find equivalent fractions, we use multiplication. 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 3 is 9. We're adding 2 7/12, so now the fractions have a common denominator. We start by adding the fractions, and we know that when we add fractions, the denominator stays the same, and 9 plus 7 is 16. But we can't write 16/12 in our answer box because we can't have an improper fraction in a mixed number, so we need to use a slightly different method. Here we can see 2 plus 2 is 4, but we need to add 16/12 that we've got from adding 9/12 and 7/12. What we do is change 16/12 back into a mixed number, so we can rewrite our question again as 4 plus 1 and 4/12. That's the same as 16/12 because 16 divided by 12 is 1 remainder 4, or because 1 times 12 is 12, and then we need 4 more to get to 16. So now 4 plus 1 is 5, the 4/12 stays the same, so our answer is 5 4/12. So notice, even though the whole numbers in the question are 2 and 2, the answer for the whole numbers is 5 because we got an extra whole number by adding our fractions. Now we have 2 9/10 plus 1 1/2. So to add fractions, we need the denominators to be the same, so we can rewrite our question as 2 9/10 plus 1 5/10. That's the same as 1/2 because 2 times 5 is 10 and 1 times 5 is 5. So when we're adding mixed numbers, we start by seeing if we can add our fractions. The denominator stays the same, and 9 plus 5 is 14. But again, we can't write 14/10 in our answer box because we can't have an improper fraction in a mixed number. So instead, 2 plus 1 is 3, and we can add 14/10 that we've got from adding 9/10 and 5/10. But we can change those 14/10 back into a mixed number. So we can rewrite our question again as 3 plus 1 and 4/10 because 14 divided by 10 is 1 remainder 4. So now 3 plus 1 is 4, the 4/10 stays the same, so that gives us 4 4/10 as our answer. So let's see what we did here. We started with 2 3/4, so 2 wholes and 3/4, and we were adding 2 7/12. But we needed to get the denominators the same, so we changed those 3/4 into 9/12. Then, when we added the 7/12, we got 16/12. But we couldn't write 4 16/12 as our answer because we can't have an improper fraction in a mixed number. So instead, we changed those 16/12 into 1 whole and 4/12. That meant that we had 5 wholes altogether and 4/12. Then for this question, we had 2 9/10, and we were adding 1 1/2. We changed the half into 5/10, but then when we added the fractions together, we got 14/10, and we knew that we couldn't write 3 14/10 as our answer because we can't have an improper fraction in a mixed number. So instead, we turned those 14/10 into 1 whole and 4/10, and when we added that to the 3 wholes, we got our answer 4 4/10. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that was helpful. If you're a teacher or a parent, then please subscribe or go to keystage2maths.com to download resources for this lesson and many more. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.